Good morning, brothers and the occasional sister. When a man loses his family through either divorce or separation or anything, often he becomes broken. And I have met men like this, big men who were influential in their community, and men that were strong physically or had big companies or professional. Got a mate over in Aussie, a lawyer, very, very good lawyer too. And when his wife walked out on him and took the two kids, he spiraled down really low down, and to the point that he could no longer run his business, and he lost everything in the end. Excuse me, I'm just making my coffee while I'm talking to you. This is the most devastating thing that a bloke can suffer, I reckon. And the reason I know about it is it's happened to me. And this is where I want to show and I want to portray why it's not the end of the world, because today I have a close, loving relationship with my children still, and I'm even really good friends with their mum. Very good friends. I talk to her regularly. We get on really well. I just care about her. I care about her an awful lot. It doesn't always have to end up horribly. When it happened with me, it did end up horribly. I was very low. The kids' mum went away to the North Island, took the kids. So I had to travel up north to see them when I wanted to. And if I was ever depressed in my life, that was the time I was depressed. If I was ever down, it killed me. But I kept on giving love to my children. I kept on contacting them and saying I love you and come and see you. And I didn't have that much time. In fairness to me, I was lucky I had a partner that wasn't silly about it and gave me the rights to see my kids, which doesn't always happen. And this is the worst thing that a woman can do to a man, is use the children as a weapon when she's got emotional problems with them, and stop that separation. My kid's mum never did that. She gave me full access. Well, not full, but as much as was reasonable, which for me was meant flying on an airplane from the South Island to the North Island and staying in North Island. Anyway, eventually they all came back to Nelson, lucky for me, after a long time, and her and a new partner, and I got better access to the kids, and I take them hunting and fishing and doing all the stuff that you want to do with your children. But the message really is to you guys, if you're there, is just keep on loving, and don't go down that track of despair. I know it's easier said than done, and I've been down it, but you've got to say to yourself when you're down there, and at least I said to myself, this is not serving your children any good. You being upset, you being depressed, you being low. This is not helping one thing. Yes, I dreamed of having a family, but I'm also responsible for this family falling apart, because it takes two, regardless of what he said, she said. It's the two of you together. And I was overworking at the time. I was over lots of things, and I wasn't a great dad either, for that matter, while I'm talking about it. I was an okay dad, but it wasn't fantastic. I could have done better. But I made sure that I didn't let that make me go into a downward spiral to the point where my children wouldn't have access to me. And today I support them and love them. My son's back with me now for a while. He's staying here, and took him fishing the other day. Fantastic. There's nothing more I enjoy than taking my son fishing or my daughter hunting. My son likes the fishing and my daughter likes the hunting. It's kind of reverse to what you'd think. So really, really important when you lose your kids, your partner splits on you, or something tragic happens, that you are there for your children, even though you're feeling really, really terrible, really, really bad. Because if you don't, if you spiral down further, you'll completely lose focus, and they will become more distant from you, and that will perpetuate the actual problem of you feeling down. Now, I know it's easier said than done. Chin up, don't be sad, don't be depressed, because depression can be also a disease just like cancer or diabetes or anything else. There's often more to it than just that, and that's probably a very light overview of it. But it is my experience to make sure that you keep the love coming towards your children. This is going to be a good coffee this morning. But I've got no cream. I'm out of cream. It'll be black. So, if you're in that situation, you're listening to me right now, and I'm sure there's the odd bloke out there is, understand that the sun comes out again and shines again. Understand that in the future you will have amazing times with your children. It doesn't have to be the end of the world, but you've got to be proactive at nurturing the relationship while you're apart. Send them letters. Try to do everything. Now, if you've got a partner that's trying to sabotage and it happens, don't give up. Don't give up, because it's an old Buddhist saying, like the sun, the truth eventually comes up every day in one way or another, and it will. Does that make sense? The sun comes up every day. Yeah, it does. I never quite fully thought about that. I just heard it once. I read it on a Facebook meme and thought it was kind of cool, but didn't quite think about it. Anyway, I think you understand what I'm saying. It will happen that even if the mother blocks the children from you in some way, eventually, if you keep trying, you want to keep a record of the evidence of you trying too, so you can show them on that fine day when they come to ask you the questions. And there's the box. Open that up. Have a look at that. These are the letters I wrote you, or at least a copy of the letters I wrote you. Keep a record, and also not just for your children, but also for yourself, so you know that you're doing your utmost best to reconnect. Now, I understand that everybody's situation is probably different to my one. Mine was, I won't say mine because it's private to my kid's mum, and I won't talk about that, but mine was probably, I guess you could say it was a classic situation. Broke up, took the kids, and I stayed behind. It was a killer, but I got through it, and like I said, I reconnected and had a wonderful time with my kids, and today I have a wonderful relationship with them because I did that. I kept on trying. I hope if you are in that situation right now that you can get through it okay without too much suffering, and more importantly without your children suffering too much, because they are small humans. You're a big adult that can rationalize even the horrible of the whole situation. You can put it in its rational place and say, oh well, I probably was working too much, or I did that, or I drunk too much, and this is a consequence, or we just weren't made for each other. You can rationale all these things, but your children don't know what's going on. Suddenly dad's out of the equation. Suddenly dad's gone. That's painful, and particularly for young men, if you're a young man going through that adolescent age without a father. For them, I went through that. Very, very hard. And also for young daughters as well, because young daughters need to have that strong male role model and love from their fathers, so they learn later on in life how to actually have a relationship with men. This is why I think my daughter's always had such good, I won't say good relationships, but she's good in her relationships with, she hasn't had that many, I think she's only had 2. She's only 20, but she's had good, she's handled her relationships really well because she got a lot of that father love from me. And that's really important. So all of these things that can go wrong and can happen and can kill you, it's horrible when it's just absolutely horrible, and particularly if you love the mother still, which I did. It's just horrible. You've lost this person you love, and you've children. Emotionally, it's so difficult. You find yourself living in a flat somewhere by yourself and trying to rebuild your life. And where the fuck did everything go wrong? I always dreamed of having a family that I never had, and you've gone and done the same thing, and it's so easy. More often than not, us men are guilty at working too hard. I am, and taking our eye off the ball, and mum's at home trying to keep all the shit together and working really hard, and we don't see how hard she's working, and it's a bloody hard job being at home raising children, and you're out there doing your job thinking you're working the hardest, and she thinks she's working the hardest. She probably is working the hardest quite often, because children are an emotional drain. Give me hammer and nails and work outside any day after looking after 3 young children particularly. And then there's the other things, her emotional needs. Are you looking after them? And sometimes you're so busy working and trying to achieve the goal of making money for the family, or to buy the house, or just to get ahead, you completely miss out your most important job of all, which is to keep your family happy and to keep them together and to keep them strong and to protect them and to nurture and love and comfort and be empathetic, and to hear all the problems of the day that your partner's had with her children when she's been working, and to try to empathise with how difficult that is. We can get so far away from that, and that's where things start to fall to bits without us even knowing. And some men still at the end of it don't realise that they had a part to play in it. Their egos are so big, they think, she did this, or she went and slept with that guy. Well, yes, she did go and sleep with that guy, but you went around, mate. You went there giving her the emotional and physical nurturing and needs, fulfilling her needs. You weren't there like to really give her what was necessary to keep that relationship going. Or it just may be that she never really was that attracted to you in the first place. And that's a bitter pill to swallow, and I've seen that before too. Whatever it was, it's fucking hard for us men, and we have to take a real hard look at ourselves and not put it all on our partners. And I did that with myself, and because of that today, I have a good friendship with her. I care about her very much. I really do, and it's good. I always hope that she's happy. That's the only way to be. Love always wins over hate. Anyway, Bro Check Channel Day is for you men that have either broken up with your partner, or you've broken up with, say you're even a dad who's lost your children for some reason or another. And if you've lost them in death, well then that's a completely different story altogether, and that's a grieving process you've got to go through, and that would be a video for another day, which I will do. But right now it's just about being separated from your children and separated from the woman you love. Not easy, but the sun does come out again, life does go on, and life does get better again. Keep that always in mind. I'm living proof of that. I'm living like a single man. I pretty much here every day. I don't have anybody in my bed, and my kids aren't here most of the time, but I have a lot of contact with my children, and regularly they come and stay. So now they're adults. So it does get better. Smash out the day. I'm going to smash out this coffee, then walk my dogs. Hey guys, check on a brother and go steady. See you later.